Say hi to Dawn in the background.
Okay, well, hi, everybody. It is Tuesday and it is November 2nd, and we've got an amazing call tonight with Dr. Nugent. We haven't had him on a call. We haven't had calls for a while, but we haven't had him on for quite a long time for our group. So he has put in some extra effort to give us some really good information tonight about our new liver support product. But before we get to that, first of all, I want to open with prayer, and I want to lift up Tim Altvader. He's going in for back surgery tomorrow morning, so I would ask you to keep praying for him as well. But let's just pray for a second. Thank you, Lord Jesus. We praise your name for how good you are to us. We thank you for Mannatech. We thank you for this discovery that you've given us that we can share with the world. And Lord, we just pray blessings on each person in their businesses, that everything they put their hands to do will prosper. And we lift up Tim Altvader tonight. We ask, Lord, that you would just guide the surgeon's hands tomorrow, that he would have supernatural skill in this surgery and everything would go well. We just plead the blood of Jesus over him, and we pray for him to be at peace tonight, that he would not be nervous, that he would just have a supernatural peace come over him, that he would sleep well, and that he would have a quicker recovery than he even thought possible. And we thank you for Dr. Nugent and pray blessings on him and all of his travel, Lord, that you would guard over him and protect him, that you strengthen him, that you bless him abundantly in everything he does, and that you give him creative ideas for even more amazing products for us. We thank you for that tonight in Jesus' name. Amen. So before we get to Dr. Nugent, I want to tell you about a couple things that I found out today on our call with Bob Adam this morning. There's a special running right now. It starts, well, it actually was today the 2nd. It starts on the 5th, November 5th through November 26th. So that's almost the whole month. It goes right up to the Black Friday specials. But it's a buy one, get one free with the omega-3 with vitamin D. So that's a really good deal. Then also Canada has, it's kind of like their Valentine's Day, I guess, and it's called Singles Day. And there's some specials for that. Let me get those here. You'll be seeing more about this, but just to give you a heads up, this starts on November 8th. There's a Mom and Me bundle, which is a Manna Bear. Buy a Manna Bear and get 50% off an Immunostart. That's a good deal. There's a Love and Life bundle that is buy an Ambertos Life canister and get a free cardio balance. And then there's an immune support bundle. Buy 2 boxes of the Ambertos Life Slim Sticks, and you'll receive an Immunostart and a GI Defense. So that's a really good special on that as well. So you'll be hearing some more about those, but I just want to give you a heads up on that. Also on November 26th, that starts the Black Friday specials, and we're going to have some really, really good specials during that time. And that's also when the liver support product will be available. One other thing I want to make sure everybody hears is that next week I will be in Colorado Springs visiting my grandkids. And so we will not have a call next Tuesday night, but this Saturday, I'm going to do a special training for those of you who want some hands-on help with using the app and how to send out videos and things through the app and some of the other tools. So we're going to do that at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, or it's 8 my time, that specific time, Arizona time. But it will be, so that is 10 o'clock Central time. So if you want to get on that, send me a note to let me know that you want to come on that training call, and I'll send you the link for that one then, okay? All right. Well, one more thing before Dr. Nugent starts. I know you want to get to him, but I want to tell you something about what he's been doing for us. Dr. Nugent has a website that I don't know if you guys all know about this or not. It's drnugent.com. And I just want to take you there real quick, because this is really an awesome website. Let's see if I can get there from here. Oh. Here it is. Okay, this is the Nugent report. And I went into the podcast tab here. And if you go into it's just drnugent.com, click on the podcast menu there, and you're going to see all these really cool trainings and talks he's done on a lot of different it's not on Mannatech products, it's just on a lot of different topics around health, like he did one on zinc. This one is good, this natural, number 15, natural, organic, and synthetic vitamins, the difference between them and why you want the kind of vitamins that we want, or that we have. Also calcium, he's got a lot of different topics there that you can go in and learn to your heart's content with the expert, with Dr. Nugent. So take advantage of that website. He is putting a lot of time and effort into doing that for us. And that is just got a wealth of information there that we can all learn a lot. And that will help us. Like I said, it's not talking about Mannatech specifically, but he's able to say a lot more things about disease conditions and stuff because he's just being generic on that. So take advantage of that, drnugent.com. So let me introduce Dr. Nugent to you. And actually, I have about 4 or 5 pages of all of the credentials from Dr. Nugent, but we're going to condense it down so we have time for him to actually share with us. Dr. Nugent is Mannatech's Global Wellness Director, and he's the chairman of the Global Scientific Advisory Board at Mannatech. Dr. Nugent has more than 39 years of experience in the area of integrative medicine. He has tested more than 6,000 dietary supplement products and formulated over 100 products himself. Several of Mannatech's products are his products. He is internationally recognized as an expert in his field, and he's been teaching doctors for more than 30 years. He is Mannatech's most requested speaker worldwide. He's earned multiple degrees, graduating with top honors at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. His areas of studies include integrative medicine, health and wellness psychology, leadership psychology, organizational psychology, neuropsychology, biology, biological anthropology, nutrition science, and business administration. Dr. Nugent has served as the president of the International Association of Complementary Medicine and is president emeritus of the American Naturopathic Medical Association. He is a professional member of the American College of Nutrition. He was awarded the Servant's Heart Award by Mannatech Associates in 2007, and we actually can award him that award every single year. He has such a servant heart to serve the Mannatech Associates. Dr. Nugent was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and he served our country with honor as a United States Marine. So thank you, Dr. Nugent, for your service to our country. And he's now a resident of Texas for more than 2 decades, but he doesn't spend much time there because he's traveling around the world, sharing with Mannatech Associates and teaching on glyconutrients. So Dr. Nugent, we're so excited to have you on the call with us today on our Zoom, and we want to hear about our new product that's being launched here this month. So I'm going to just give the floor over to you.
Well, thank you, Wendy. Thank you for that introduction. And good to be zooming in for you tonight. I was telling a few people earlier today at another Zoom call that with Zoom calls, you can literally have meetings every hour of the day without traveling to a city or a country, which is good and is kind of bad because it wears you out. It's already been an 11-hour day for me. But anyway, I'm excited about doing this, Wendy. So I'm going to share the screen and
excuse me, Dr. Nugent, I forgot to mute the lines. I'm going to mute the lines, so you may have to unmute your button again. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you should be unmuted now, I think.
Yep, I'm good.
Yeah,
all right.
Good. All right.
Screen, pull up some slides. And I just finished these slides literally moments before this call, because I wanted to make sure that we had the most effective presentation for everybody this evening. Whoops, we're on the wrong end. There we go. Let me minimize my get this thing out of the way. There we go. All righty. Well, why do we have a liver support product at all? Well, this is something that I've been asking to do at Mannatech now for, oh gosh, I don't know, 7 years or so. And initially, it didn't seem very exciting to people on the sales and marketing side. It was like, well, liver, yeah, okay, I suppose that's good, but how exciting is that? And of course, from my perspective as a healthcare practitioner, liver is about as exciting as it gets. I mean, their brain and heart, obviously you can't live without those two things, but you also can't live without a liver. And so liver support's crucially important. I threw together some statistics tonight to help all of you, to help others with this. So a lot of people don't know that there's about 130 million Americans, give or take, pretty close to 130 million, who have something called non-alcoholic fatty liver. Now, most people think, well, you only have a liver problem if you're an alcoholic or a heavy drinker, or you've had some liver-related virus that's damaged your liver or something like that. That's not true. That is simply not true. The liver is responsible for more than 500 functions in the human body. 500 functions. In fact, there's almost no function in the body that does not involve the liver at some level. If you're taking a prescription drug, as an example, that drug will never go from a drug to being something used in your bloodstream without it being processed and activated in your liver. This also goes for the majority of nutrients. They have to be activated through the liver. Your liver conjugates your hormones. Literally, any kind of a hormone issue you have, your liver is involved to some extent because you cannot conjugate hormones without your liver. The list just goes on. So I wanted everyone to know that there are millions of Americans and people all over the planet for that matter, because we're all biologically human. But we're talking to an American audience right now. So I'm just telling all of you, this is crucial for so many people in America, because non-alcoholic fatty liver is one issue. And that's an issue that most people don't know about until they have other problems diagnosed. And I'll talk about a few of those as we move forward. So what happens is they see their physician, and their physician says, oh, well, you have this problem, you have that problem, take this drug, take that drug. But as usual in our healthcare system, what doesn't happen is we're not going to the root of the problem. We're just medicating the problem. That's the way it works in not just our healthcare system, but healthcare systems all over the planet. And very often the problem is actually in the liver. And this is the case, as an example, with cholesterol. Let me explain how this works. Humans have a very ancient survival mechanism that's built into them. And I get in trouble with people sometimes because of the words I choose. So, I mean, give me some grace on this if I pick the wrong word. But I don't care what your point of view is, or where you are in the universe in terms of philosophy. From my perspective, the human body is a design. And some people agree, some people disagree. I'm not going to argue the point. So this design is a very ancient design, and it's there to help us survive. That's the whole idea. So our ancient ancestors for a very long time were hunter-gatherers. And then, of course, farming started after that. But in the beginning, all of our ancestors were hunter-gatherers. And if they couldn't store energy in their liver and store energy as stored body fat on their body, and they would go without food for days, because you can't go to the grocery store if you're a hunter-gatherer. You have to get what you can get when you can get it. So the result was our ancestors had to have a way to make sure that they survived, that they had enough energy in between finding food. Well, this mechanism is still with us today, and much to the chagrin of many people, because if you eat a refined carbohydrate or a carbohydrate that contains simpler sugar molecules, as an example, if you were to eat some blueberries, the blueberries will convert the sugar in the blueberry will convert in your liver into triglyceride. Now, the idea is that the triglyceride is there as stored energy for you in case you need it. Now, keep in mind, hunter-gatherers are pretty slim. You're not going to find any super fat hunter-gatherers. They just don't exist, okay? But in today's world, we hunt and gather by walking from the couch to the refrigerator. And that doesn't take a whole lot of energy. So it doesn't burn up a whole lot of fat. The only purpose of fat is stored energy. That's the only reason it exists. But what about making cholesterol? Well, your liver also creates 75% on average, might be 76% in one person or 73 in another, but 75% of the cholesterol in your body at any time was not put in your body by eating something, but rather made in your liver. Why? You cannot make hormones without cholesterol. It's that simple. This is why your body makes cholesterol. Folks, and I'm not going to argue this point with anybody, and I often get into arguments with people about this, but I'm not going to do it. There's no accidents in the human body. There just aren't. So everything is there for a reason. Everything functions for a reason. Now, I have to tell you that in science, we don't yet understand all the reasons. I mean, we keep looking, we keep trying, but there's things that we just don't understand. The point is, we know that our liver is making cholesterol because you can't have estrogen or testosterone or any other hormone unless you have cholesterol first. How does your liver make cholesterol? It takes sugars, such as the sugars that you'll find in fruit, as an example, and it will turn them into triglyceride. Triglyceride makes more than 70% of a cholesterol molecule. So literally, all the nonsense that was fed to the American public for more than 50 years and is still being fed to the public around the planet, it's wrong. It's been disproven. It's scientifically wrong. That the reason that people have high cholesterol is they eat food with fat. That's nonsense. That's simply not true. It was disproven. There's at least 15 scientific studies that disprove that. But the majority of the world doesn't seem to know it yet. So they keep saying this all the time. So your body is going to make fat through your liver because it was designed to. But you were also designed to be more physically active than you are. And that's part of our problem in our society today. People are not burning up the stored energy. They're just accumulating more. And it's too darn easy to accumulate it. So, and too darn difficult to get rid of it. So anyway, that's sort of the basics of the liver. I'm going to go into a few more functions as we proceed through this presentation. And yes, I will stay for questions at the end. Okay, so we're looking at all of these things that can affect the liver. So it's non-alcoholic fatty liver, which has nothing to do, obviously, with a disease mechanism of any kind. But if your liver becomes too fatty, it can't function as designed. And the result is you get sick. You have different types of illnesses that result as a result of having too much fat in your liver. 130 million Americans at least have that problem. At least 130 million Americans need the ingredients that I'm going to talk about in this formula. And that's why I push so hard to make this formula for Mannatech. And I just thank God that everybody approved it and we now have it and we can start to help people with it. So for instance, if you take acetaminophen or Tylenol, your physician is always going to recommend Tylenol because he or she was taught in medical school, well, aspirin could be bad under this circumstance or that circumstance, so let's use the Tylenol instead. Problem is, Tylenol damages liver cells. Now, it only damages a small amount at a very slow rate, and the liver is amazingly able to actually regenerate itself. That's astonishing. And I don't think that's an accident either, because you can't live without one. Well, for those of you who haven't seen a liver, now you're looking at one. So that's where it is. That's where it's located. That's what it looks like. And on the average person, it weighs somewhere around 3 pounds, give or take. Bigger people, bigger liver. And in fact, the reason that you have that, for those people who are looking at alcohol consumption and they see that, a male can have 2 glasses of wine, a female only 1. What's up with that? Well, what it's about is the size of your liver. The bigger your liver is, the more alcohol you can process. That's all there is to it. And on average, planet-wide, males are typically about 12% larger than females on average. So, and there are some differences, obviously, here and there. So male livers tend to be bigger than female livers, and they can process more. That's all there is to that. But it's so cool that your liver, if you had even damaged up to 75% of your liver, it could regenerate if you gave it the right nutrition. It could actually regenerate. That's wonderful. Wonderful to know that. Super, super important stuff. Okay, so what does it do? Well, as you can see on the slide there, I've got a little picture where it says over 500 functions. We're not going to talk about all 500. We don't have time. But the point is, almost everything you can think of, almost every function of the body somehow involves the liver. Having a liver support product is something we should have had back in 1996. Thank God we've got it now. Everybody, and folks, I mean everybody, should be taking a liver support product. I don't care if you know you have a problem, if you don't know you have a problem, if you're concerned about it, everybody should be doing this. I'll give you more reasons in a few moments. By the way, when I launched this product in China, because in the beginning, the only market I could convince to be excited about this product was China. And because the Chinese consume a lot of alcohol, a lot. I won't go into the numbers, but their general concern was, can you give us something to help our livers, because alcohol consumption is such a big problem in China. And so we launched this liver support product in China and sold out the entire inventory within hours after my product launch. So that's how excited people in China got about this. And you folks need to be excited about this as well. So yes, we know the liver does detoxification. Everyone knows that. It helps to purify your blood. In fact, your blood cannot be purified unless it goes through the liver. Making of hormones. It helps you when your body has excess proteins. Too much protein can be a problem. Too little protein is a problem. Balance is always what you want to achieve in health, always about balance. If you have damaged red blood cells, they have to be taken out of the body. And of course, those happen all the time. The liver is important for immune function. It's important for all metabolic functions and energy production. You cannot produce all of the energy factors that people talk about in energy drinks and all that without it processing through a healthy liver. So important. I'm just really excited about this product. I don't know if you can tell or not. So ketones are produced in the body for cellular energy. I've talked about cholesterol already. Blood clotting factors are regulated through a healthy liver. Bile that you need to digest your food is produced in the liver, those bile salts. You can't absorb vitamins unless you've been processing them through the liver. And of course, toxins in our environment that you've heard me talk about so many times. It is the organ for immune function. Now, yes, we do have a different gland in the body called the thymus gland, which is typically referred to as the, I often call it immune system headquarters, okay? Because I'm thinking like an old Marine, right? And it is. But if you don't have a healthy liver, you can't process the immune factors. So literally, whether the concern is virus or bacteria or fungi, I don't care what the concern is. Without a healthy liver, you are not going to support a healthy immune system. It's just that simple. So this product, we decided to put it in capsule form to make it convenient, and it's meant for daily use. Folks, please use it every day. Everybody, start telling everybody about this thing, because people don't realize how important the liver is to so many functions. They know about, well, my physician says I have this problem, I have that problem. They don't know that very often those problems are about their liver. You make that liver healthier, and maybe those problems don't need to be there anymore. So that's just something to think about. All right, so benefits claims for this product. Obviously, detoxification. That's what everybody thinks about when you say liver, they think detox. Okay. But metabolism and energy, processing your foods, the whole process of digesting your foods. Yes, you need digestive enzymes. Everybody take GI before your meals. Okay. But you can't process your foods unless that process works with chemicals created in your liver. That's the way that has to work, the digestive process. So nutrient levels, obviously storage of fat soluble nutrients are stored in the liver. And so cellular energy production, we've talked about. Choline, I'm going to talk about choline a lot because choline is something that almost nobody knows anything about. And that includes physicians. I mean, most people have heard the word phosphatidylcholine, and they know it has something to do with the brain. But I'm going to talk a lot about that in the next few minutes. So choline, and the benefits claim is going to be that it, and you know how we always have to word the claims, may help to support, et cetera, may help to support healthy methylation. What does that mean? Some nutrients have to be methylated or you can't absorb them. Example, folate, which is the natural form of that particular vitamin, and some people, they know about folic acid, that's the synthetic form of the vitamin. Folate can't be processed by the body unless it is methylated. It has to interact with a methylating agent. Choline is perhaps the best methylating agent in the human body. And so that's one factor. Okay, but there are many, many factors. All right. So you could eat all the folate containing food in the world, but if you can't methylate the folate, it does you zero good, nothing. Okay. Well, here's a look at the label, and it looks like, oh, this looks pretty simple. Well, it's, you know, okay, I hope this doesn't sound like a conceit, but I'm very proud of this formula. And I think it's not so simple, really. But the label looks pretty simple. So we'll run through these various forms. Now, you notice that I selected a form of folate, which is already methylated. Now, it's a natural form of folate, but it's already methylated. So if you were to eat, I don't know, any kind of vegetable that contains folate, that wouldn't be the case. It wouldn't be methylated from a vegetable already. So understand, without methylation, there's no function. Now, there's also choline in here, obviously, so that would methylate any form of folate or any other nutrient that needs to be methylated. So you have folate and you have vitamin B12. Zinc is absolutely necessary for healthy liver function. There's no way around it. It's completely necessary. And of course, we have our glyconutrients. And, you know, I don't always understand. There's legal and regulatory stuff about how in one formula we have to list it one way and another formula we have to list it. I don't, that's not my job. Okay. I mean, I hate to cop out on that, but you know, I do science stuff. I don't do legal stuff. So instead of saying ambertose here, we're looking at gum acacia, which is a source for some of our glycans. Ambrogard is our arabinogalactan source, our premium arabinogalactan. That's why we trademarked it, because it's ours. Mannapol obviously is our glycan from aloe. Gum tragacanth makes up all of the other glycans. So you have a total of 10, not 8, 10 functionals in ambertose. Anyway, that's there, but it's not listed as ambertose. It's listed in this way. I don't know why. Okay. So betaine, inositol and choline are like this. Okay. Inositol and choline work together. Whenever I put together a formula, I always want to have, if I'm going to do choline, I want to do inositol together because they are so synergistic to each other and to their functions. Okay. I won't talk a lot about inositol this evening. Betaine comes from beets, and betaine actually helps your body produce nitric oxide. Now, this helps to oxygenate your muscles. This helps with energy. This helps with blood flow. There's a whole long list. It's important for heart health. There's a lot of things. And you may see on some of our formulas, you'll see it's listed as trimethylglycine. In the cardiobalance formula, that's another formula that I made. it called for trimethylglycine, which is taken from beets. All right, so similar function there. Anyway, let's move forward into the ingredients then, because that's what everybody wants me on the calls for, to talk about the ingredients, right? Okay, so choline is also known as vitamin B4. Most people don't know that, but that's what it is. It's an essential nutrient. That means your body has to have it, but your body cannot make it. Can't make it, but you must have it. Choline is that, as far as I'm concerned, the most superior form of methylating agent that you could put in your body. So anything that needs to be methylated. But there's a lot more to choline than that, a lot more. It seems, according to federal government data, and I've highlighted this in red because I want everybody to see it, most people in the US consume less than the AI, that means adequate intake. They keep changing those things all the time and keep people confused. So now it's called adequate intake. So less than the adequate intake of choline daily. In fact, by the scientific data collected by the federal government, they tell us that the average adult is taking in about half the amount they need of choline every day. Choline occurs naturally in foods. In fact, one of the best sources of choline, believe it or not, are eggs. And that goes back to misinformation that's gone on for more than 50 years. Eggs are bad for you. Eggs will kill you. No, eggs will not kill you, and they're not bad for you. That's also been disproven. But almost nobody seems to know that. Every morning, I start my morning, unless I'm on the road somewhere and I can't get them. But as long as I can get them, every morning I have 2 eggs every morning. An egg contains 144 milligrams of choline in the average egg. And an adult male should have at least 550 milligrams of choline a day, female at least 450 milligrams of choline. This has to do with the size of the liver, okay? And the average person is getting somewhere around 250. Some people may get up as much as 400, depending on what their diet is, but essentially nobody's getting the adequate intake. I also threw this other fact in just below that because I think this is important. You know, there's, especially in the last couple of years, there's been all of this politicalization of science, and it makes me crazy. Science, one of the reasons I love science is because it's not about anybody's opinion. Opinion is pointless in science. There are things you can prove, there are things you can't prove. That's science. That's the way it is. And so I want you to know that genetically, nutrients work different in different races. And it's not about anything except genetics. That's all it is. So people that try to do politics with it, shame on them, because genetics are genetics, and it's simple fact. So I threw this in just to let you know that, yes, African American males will almost certainly have lower choline levels in their blood than males who are either Caucasian or Hispanic. It's almost a certainty across the board, even if they're eating the same foods exactly. Why is this? Science doesn't know. We don't know. We simply know that for some reason, African American males process choline less effectively than African American females or males who are Caucasian or Hispanic. We don't know why that is, but it is. And it has nothing to do with genetics. I mean, nothing to do with anything except genetics. That's it. So if anyone tries to politicize that, to just get a grip, forget it, because it's not the case. So then we're going to have all of the people in your groups who are African American males. They need to be particularly certain that they get more choline than everyone else. It's very, very important stuff. So, all right, here's some more factoids about choline. I could write a whole book on choline. I love this nutrient. And you'll notice that I put choline in Catalyst when I made that formula years ago, because it's so darn important for so many aspects of our health. So I've already talked about the fact that it's a source of methyl groups and it's important for metabolism. But you'll also see on the slide, I've highlighted all plants and animals. All plants and animal cells need choline to preserve cellular integrity. And remember, a few moments ago, I showed you that the majority of adults are simply not getting the adequate intake of choline per day. Another reason to take both the liver support formula and catalyst, because they both provide choline. All right, here we have what most people think about when you say choline. They think about phosphatidylcholine, or they think about acetylcholine in the brain. And they know that acetylcholine is important for brain function. It is. So that's an important neurotransmitter, but also for memory. Don't expect memory to function right if you're short on choline. It's not going to happen. Mood swings. You've got to have choline for that. Muscle control. And of course, various brain function, aspects of brain function, and nervous system function. You've got to have choline. It's also important for gene expression. Wow. I mean, choline gets more interesting as I go on. At least to me, it gets more interesting. And for cell membrane signaling, and lipid means fat. So fat transport and metabolism. And this is important. Early brain development in that child in the womb and early brain development of the infant, very, very important that enough choline is going into that child every day. Very important. Now, the best way to feed a child is mother's milk. I know that may sound old-fashioned for some folks, but I'm telling you folks, that's the best way to feed a child nutrition. Mom takes in the nutrition through a process that appears to be magic. It's not magic, but it almost appears to be magical. Moms will change the chemistry in their milk based on the pheromones that they sense from their child. And I don't think that's an accident either. So this is how mother's milk is regulating just the right amount of nutrient for the child all the time when they're nursing. So when a mom has a baby, again, this is easy for me to say because I don't have to nurse a child. So, but women are designed to nurse for 24 months. So like it or not, agree with it or not, that's the function. That's the design. All right, let's talk about some other factors in here because I'll get carried away on choline. I'll talk too much about it. I love it too much. Turmeric is something that we have in our product called Bounce Back, obviously, and Bounce Back doesn't get purchased enough. And we can no longer talk about the design of Bounce Back because the FDA came out with a thing about a word that I'm going to say it for training purposes, but you cannot repeat this when you are talking to new people. So I'm saying it only for training purposes to you. We cannot use the word inflammation anymore. We cannot imply inflammation. We cannot intimate inflammation. The word inflammation and anything about inflammation is out of the vocabulary. No more. Can't say it. Well, of course, Bounce Back was scientifically designed based on human double-blind placebo control with college athletes to help you with inflammation. So we can't talk about it anymore. The product isn't getting sold at all. I mean, it's barely being used. We may have to sunset the product, which I hate because it's a great product, but there's nothing we can do. You can't use that word anymore. All right, so don't use that word anymore. All right, so turmeric is known for that, but we can't talk about that. We can talk about its antioxidant effects. We can talk about how it helps with liver function, how it helps to detoxify the liver. And we can also talk about turmeric as it relates to blood sugar levels. And by the way, you can't keep your blood sugar normal if your liver's not functioning right. So there's another one for you, another reason to take liver support every day. Licorice has been long associated by herbalists and naturopaths for, gosh, who knows how long, that it's good for liver function and digestive function, okay? Now, milk thistle and dandelion root are two things that you'll find in pretty much every liver product, okay? In fact, there are a lot of liver products that are basically milk thistle, dandelion root, and licorice, and that's pretty much all they are. Those all help with detoxification, and those all help with liver function. Now, milk thistle, to actually be functional, so it can't just be milk thistle. It has to be silymarin standardized from milk thistle. Milk thistle by itself we can't say much about. The functional is silymarin. It's sort of like saying our Mannapole is the functional from an aloe vera plant. So eating aloe won't do the job. You have to get that functional taken out. Well, here again, you need silymarin standardized, that's important, standardized from milk thistle. And dandelion root really does help with liver related issues, and especially detox, cleansing of the liver. Now, the liver has to function 24/7. It's detoxifying your blood all day, all night long. It's working pretty hard, and it's good to give it a little help. Artichoke is now known by some more recent scientific studies to help with healthy cholesterol levels. And cholesterol, of course, is a very big deal for a lot of folks these days. Now we talked about vitamin B4, choline. Now let's talk about vitamin B9, folate. All right, folate in its natural form, that's what it's called when it comes from a plant or an animal, it's folate. If it's made synthetically, it's folic acid. Now, by the way, in that podcast, and thank you so much, Wendy, for talking about that and showing the screen. I really appreciate that at drnugent.com. I do appreciate that. Albella had asked me to work on that site. I do it in my spare time. Anyway, and I'm trying to do that because I want to help our people with good, solid, generic, objective information so they know how to answer questions. They know how to help people better, okay? But in there, one of the podcasts, in fact, it's the one that you highlighted in your introduction. So natural, organic, semi-synthetic, and synthetic. So yes, there are 4 categories, right? And most people don't know there are 4. They think there are 2, or perhaps there are 3, but there are 4. We know from scientific study that you cannot prevent birth defects in a pregnant mom having birth defects for that child by using folate, because folate in the studies, and there's been numerous studies, folate doesn't prevent neural tube defects. Now, it's not fully understood why that is. They think it has something to do with the methylation, but we don't know. But folic acid pretty much always works. And this is why your physicians and why prenatal vitamins always have the synthetic form of folate, which is called folic acid, because that's the only one that works in preventing the birth defects. So I just thought so please listen to podcast 15 and learn about natural, organic, semi-synthetic. And I just had the other day, one of our presidentials said, why can't you call this particular item organic? Well, that particular item is and that is our Mannapole, okay? Mannapole is as natural gets. It's as organic gets, but there's a law, okay? Now, our grower makes their own fertilizer using natural substances, and combining these natural substances, actually growing these various types of fungi as fertilizer, and it works fabulously. It also works as a natural pesticide. It keeps all the insects off the aloe plants without using any kinds of harmful drugs to the environment or any of that stuff, right? But because, here's the law, because they took one natural and another natural and they combined them, it's now a synthetic. Now, it's not a synthetic like we think about synthetic, but that's the law. Because they say, well, those two things don't occur bonded together, even though they're both natural, therefore it's no longer natural, so you can't call your aloe organic, even though it's, I mean, you see what I mean? So you need to listen to podcast 15. That'll tell you a lot, right? That'll help a lot. All right, back to folate, vitamin B9. So B vitamins are hugely important, but folate is especially important for the manufacture of both red and white blood cells. It's essential for making bone marrow. My gosh, how important is that? It's essential to energy. And you can't produce DNA without folate. So that's super important. Molybdenum is one of my little cute favorite nutrients. Molybdenum is a trace mineral, but it's also, believe it or not, it's an essential mineral. And most people can't even pronounce it. I can't tell you how many people look at it and they go, molybdenum, what is that? Okay, molybdenum is how it's pronounced. Molybdenum is a trace mineral, which is vitally important for a healthy liver, but it's also used to catalyze various enzyme reactions. That's super important. And it's a key nutrient for breaking down certain proteins and some other substances as well. Now, here's one other little goodie I'll just give to you. I put molybdenum in Catalyst, and it's not a daily required that you normally see on a vitamin mineral label, right? Why did I do it? Because we're not getting very much molybdenum in today's diet, and most people don't know what it is anyway. So there's these factors, but here's one other factor. Did you ever drink a glass of red wine and get a headache? Well, you get that headache from something called a sulfite. Sulfites are found in the peel of the red grape or the purple grape, depending on how you want to characterize it. The body, in order to process sulfites, needs this little old trace mineral called molybdenum. And if you have enough of it, then you generally can enjoy your glass of red wine without too much problem. But if you don't have enough of it, you're probably going to get a headache when you drink that red wine. Well, when we launched this product in Australia, and Australia is always either number 1 or 2 in global alcohol consumption per capita. And they make a lot of great wine, a lot of great wine. I know I've sampled a lot of it myself. And so when I introduced this product into Australia, within a month, I had Aussies telling me it was their new drinking vitamin because of they were noticing the difference. Now, folks, that was not my intent in making the product. Okay, I want you to know that was not my intent, but that's the way it turned out. All right, so here's another quick look at the label. And here are the key features that we have of the product. So no preservatives, no gluten, no soy, no dairy, no MSG, no artificial flavors or sweeteners. It's vegan friendly, it's keto friendly, it's low carb friendly, and it's low glycemic. What more could you ask for in a product that actually works and has so many benefits that we've just talked about? And how should you take it? It's pretty simple. That's cute. Our marketing department made that graphic. I love that graphic holding your liver like that. It's great. Taking 2 capsules with water each day. You could take it with juice if you want. That's not a problem. But do 8 ounces is probably a better way to do it because you need a certain amount of fluid to get all that nutrient out, get it properly processed. It's best to take it before a meal, but if you forget, take it anyway, because you're still going to get lots and lots of benefits from it. It's simply better to take it before a meal because of the choline already starting to process foods for you as you're going through the digestive tract. Okay. And this is so important. All adults should take this product. I don't know when we'll have, because we have to get legal regulatory guidance on what we're allowed to say for children, because children are very different than adults. They're not just different in size. Many things in the way a child's body functions is very different than the way an adult body functions. So until we have the appropriate guidance on this, we're saying adults, and we're going to wait for legal and regulatory to make their decisions. When we know, I'm sure the marketing department will pass that on to you folks, or the sales department will. So this is, that's the product. What could you use it with? Could you use it with True Pure? Yeah, that'd be a great combination. True Pure is a cellular detox. It's not a liver detox, it's a cellular detox. So True Pure is designed to detoxify all the cells of the body, including kidney cells, liver cells, and so on. So that True Pure is a detox product. Liver Support is a liver support product. And yes, that includes detox agents and so on. But those two combined make a really great combination for you to do at least once every 3 months, to do those products together to really cleanse that liver, get your kidney cells detoxed and so on. All that's just very, very important. And then, of course, folks, nobody has to ask me if you use Ambertose, right? Everybody uses Ambertose. And in fact, I did a call a few days ago, and I kept getting asked the question. I said, okay, everybody stop, just listen. If you're breathing, take Ambertose. All right, so don't ask me anymore. Everybody takes Ambertose. Whether you choose complex or life, that's your choice. But make sure you take your Ambertose. OSP, what a value OSP is. All right, so you have Catalyst, which is clearly our most powerful vitamin mineral product. And then you have AO, which is the best antioxidant on planet Earth, as proven. That's not hyperbole. That's not marketing stuff, okay? As proven by 3 human double-blind placebo-controlled studies. It's the best antioxidant on planet Earth. All right, 2 great products. And then you have Plus. My gosh, Plus is such a great product, you don't even have to explain it to anybody. All you have to do is give it to people. They're almost certain to want it next month. I mean, it's just really that simple. So it's a great way to go. Make sure you're taking your OSP every day and your Ambertose, those 2 things. Essentials liver support. And it's coming out on some kind of special. I have no idea what the special is. Nobody's told me yet, for Black Friday. Somebody in sales will probably inform all the field on what that is, or marketing. I don't know. So that's the end of this presentation. I'll stick around for a little bit for questions for everybody. Now, before we do the questions, though, I have to tell everybody, you have to, and please listen carefully. The regulatory environment keeps changing. It's not getting better. It's not getting easier. Okay. We have to be more and more careful about what we say, how we say it, when we say it, where we say it. So even on a training call like this, do not ask me a disease question, because this is being recorded and there is no fudge factor on anything that's being recorded. When you say something live by mistake, FDA will allow you to fudge 1 time. But when it's being recorded, there's no fudge factor. Do not ask me a disease question. We don't want a disease mentioned on a recording at all. Hopefully that's clear for everybody. Okay. Okay. I'm going to, how do I get this?
Well, you can just unshare it there. Dr. Nugent, that was awesome. Boy, I learned a lot tonight. I had no idea that my liver was that important. That's great. You know, one thing I wanted to ask you, and if you guys have a question, why don't you raise your hand, or else I'll try to see you there, or you can chat, put it in the chat too. And we'll just keep Dr. Nugent just for a few questions here. I know it's late there in Central Time. And you've had a long day already, but can you tell us, how do you know if you have a fatty liver? Are there any indications of that? It sounds to me like everyone needs to be on this product, but how do you know if you have an indication towards that?
Well, actually, first of all, let's say that if we take all of the liver concerns and put them together, we're probably pretty close to 2/3 of the US population.
Mm-hmm.
So should everybody be on this product? The answer would be yes. I think people should think about this and Ambertose as key products. Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you know if you have that? There are tests that can be done to determine if you have that, but you probably won't know, and your physician may not know either. This is key. And keep in mind that physicians go through incredible amount of training. It's almost superhuman amount of training, trying to learn everything that they need to know. And they still can't possibly know everything. It's just not possible. So usually what they'll do is they'll see a symptom and they'll medicate the symptom, and then they won't test to find out if the cause is fatty liver. But there are tests that can be done to determine if you have fatty liver. And if you do, it'll probably keep getting worse, and your health issues will keep getting worse because a fatty liver can't process. You can't get the stuff to go through the fat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like clogging up the pores, if you will.
Yeah. Okay, that you're making it very clear. We appreciate that. Nancy's got a question. She wants to know, how much is too much protein to have in your diet? You said that the liver helps to digest protein, right? But how much is too much?
Well, that's going to depend a lot on the individual, their genetics, their age, and their physical activity. So there isn't really a specific number that we can give you. I can be more accurate with bare minimum requirements. which for females is 46 grams a day and for males is 56 grams a day. But those two numbers are based on averages, and they're based on individuals who are ages, I think it's 19, it's 18 or 19, through about 45. Now, then your requirements change then as you age, because starting at the age of 40, and I don't know how many of you folks saw my presentation at Manifest where I talked about nutrients of aging, but starting around the age of 40, we begin to be less efficient in our body's ability to convert proteins. So you could be eating the exact same amount of protein that you ate at the age of 30, but now at the age of 50, you're not getting that much protein processed. Now, what your liver will do is it will take the protein that wouldn't process and it will purge it from your body safely. Okay. So that's the function. So I think I understand Nancy's question, but I think it's more to the liver is going to go after that excess protein that couldn't get processed. Okay. And so I wouldn't be concerned about eating too much protein. The only organ of the body that can, in some conditions, have a problem with too much protein is the kidneys. And again, that goes back to digestion, and that can also be tested for. Something, a blood test that you look at is something called albumin. So ALBUMIN, albumin. And when the albumin is high, that tells us that you have more protein in your blood than you can digest and process. And then the problems need to be looked into as to why.
Okay, good. Okay. Melody's got a question. In testing product, I assume you mean in testing the liver support product, did results produce lower sugar along with a careful diet and exercise?
We didn't do it wasn't a blood sugar study, but what we do know about the way the liver processes sugars, because it has to, okay, is that when the liver is too fatty or if it's damaged, blood sugar just goes up. So I can't give you a number from our study because we didn't look at that factor. We simply know that to be the case. We were looking at various, hormone factors and that sort of thing.
Okay, good. One other question Nancy's asking, is it best to take the liver support then first thing in the morning? Is that what's ideal?
The time of the day doesn't make too much difference on that product. Ideally, though, it should be taken in the best. And again, I don't want to get people to not take it. I hate it when they say, oh, I forgot to take it with my food, so I didn't take it at all. No, please take it regardless. But it really will be most efficient if it's taken 20 to 30 minutes before a meal. That could be any of the meals. But I know for some people, they're thinking, well, I don't want to drink too much fluid at night, because I have to get up to urinate and so on. And you'll have to, that's an individual choice. But the key really is meals. So it doesn't really matter as long as it's like on a 24-hour cycle. That's really all that matters.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's all the questions I see here, Dr. Nugent. And this has been so informative. And we just appreciate you so much. You come up with the most amazing products for us and that really work. And we love being able to share this with people. So thank you for being on with us tonight. I think we will let you go and get some rest. Okay.
Thank you. I got an earlier date tomorrow.
One question I did have, is it possible for us to get these slides?
I'll have to check with legal. There have been some new rules about that.
Okay.
And I don't mean to scare folks. I just want people to be realistic. We now have the Federal Trade Commission in the current administration is coming after nutrition companies. And they seem to be deadly serious. We have to be just incredibly careful. So, so it wasn't bad enough with the FDA. Now we have the FTC. And I'll ask, and if legal says yes, then I'll email them to you. Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Nugent. We appreciate you so much, and we will. And again, like I said, the product will be out on the Black Friday specials on November 26th, day after Thanksgiving. So thank you again. Thanks for everybody for being on tonight. Remember to let me know if you want to join me on Saturday on the hands-on training on the tools and Mannatech Plus app. So God bless y'all and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Night, everyone.
Bye.